What's up, CY? I hope everybody's having a great week. We are excited to be putting out these videos each and every week for you guys. We hope you guys are learning something new from each and every one of these videos. We're having fun making them, and we're gonna keep putting them out for you guys. But this week, we're excited about this video coming. Be looking out for next week. We're gonna start a brand new series online called A Little Bit of Wisdom. And we're gonna talk about Proverbs, the book of Proverbs, and what that looks like. And we're gonna pull some great material out of that. So be on the lookout for that starting next week. But this week, you guys are in for a treat. We have a really, really great message and a great story from one of our own youth leaders. Check it out.
I'm Sarah, I'm 22, and Jesus made me realize that I'm worth something. My family never went to church. It wasn't like I don't want to say priority, because I guess that's kind of like, that's the wrong word to use, but it was just never, like, they believe, but we just never went to church as a family. We've gone a couple of times. I started going to church with neighbors, I think maybe I was 10. I think I just came to come to church. Like, I never really, I guess, had a mindset of like I wanted to change. I think it was just to go to church just because like I had friends here and I was coming with friends. I came here all of high school. It wasn't like I came every Sunday or every Wednesday for youth. I just came. I graduated from Hernando in 2016, and then I went to Northwest for 2 years. I unofficially graduated from Northwest in 2018. Fall of 2018, I went to Ole Miss for a year, and I would go to church every now and then, but it would be with who I was staying with in Oxford. But down there, I made friends, but I never really got out a lot. So it was like by myself a lot, and that's kind of where it went downhill. Just because I was by myself, I wasn't happy down there at all. Like I wasn't where I thought I would be, because I had a 5-year plan on my phone, and I was nowhere near where I wanted that 5-year plan to be. My anxiety got really bad down there. My depression got really bad down there. I tried to talk about it a lot, but every time I would try to talk about it with people, it was always like, you'll be fine, or just brush it off, or, just get over it, like it's nothing, like you're just overthinking. And so that just kind of made it worse, and I quit talking about it after I had gotten back from school. It was like June. My Nana passed away unexpectedly, and it just kind of like took a lot out of our family. And it just made it really hard to like talk about how I was feeling, because I was trying to make sure like, mom was okay and like everybody else was okay, and just trying to like keep it together. And a lot of other stuff, happened in that period, relationships with myself and, with my parents. It was tested really hard, and ever since like then, it just wasn't the same. It was hard. So it was just a lot of negative things like happening at once, and I didn't know how to handle it myself. I know there were times where like I had just questioned what did I do to like for all of this to just happen at once. Like I questioned God. I'm not gonna lie, I did. Like it was like I don't understand what I had done to make God like let all this bad stuff happen to me personally. This went on for months. Like it started in June, and I think I finally realized, what God had for me, and like what his plan was like the beginning of this year. So it wasn't like years, it wasn't like this lifelong thing, but in those months, like I broke. Like I hit my breaking point bad. And in that process, you know, I lost a lot of people that, you know, wanted nothing but the best for me. You know, relationships were tested, relationships with my parents were tested. It felt like everything was like working against me. Like I had nothing, like nothing was on my side. Like every time I felt like, okay, like I'm getting everything together, it just, something else came and just like knocked it down, and it wasn't a great feeling. The beginning of this year, in January, it was like, I don't even think we were full weekend. I had enough. I finally realized like what my purpose was. Like I figured out what God had for me. And like I broke down. Like I broke hard. Like I remember, you know, going and talking to my roommate and just like sobbing uncontrollably. Like I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to be in that house or physically. Like I did not want to be here. And it was hard. Like I had tried to talk to people about like my depression and anxiety, and it wasn't anything that I felt like I needed major help on or that I needed medication for, but I needed somebody to talk to. And it was always like, I'm all for like opinions and people like trying to help me, but other times like I just wanted somebody good to listen, and I don't feel like I really ever got that, because if I did try to talk about it, it was always like, get over it, like it's not that big of a deal, and like that hurt. So I never really like talked about it as much as I should have. Mom always told me like, no matter like how bad the situation is, like we're always gonna be there. Like we're gonna let you sink. You're not gonna hit rock bottom, but we're gonna let you sink before you realize like this is not what is best for me. And like it took so much like heartache and losing people and almost losing my relationship with my parents that I had for me to realize like this is not what God intended for me to do. Deuteronomy chapter 31 verse 6, it says, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you." I could question him 1,000 times and he would still be like, you have to trust me. Like, I've got this great plan for you, and it's not gonna happen because you know, you're crying out to me, or you're like uncontrollably sobbing, or you think you're okay. Like you could be like at your lowest, and that's when I'll do it. Or you could be at like your happiest, and that's when that plan will come. Or you could just be sitting there and it'll just happen. Isaiah chapter 40 verse 31, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." Isaiah was the beginning of this year, and the first part was, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength." That was kind of like the eye-opener for me. Like, I've gone through so much, and like my faith and hope for God just kind of burned out, and the devil, like, he was in his prime, like, of me like questioning God. And it just, I didn't have any faith. I didn't have any faith in myself. Like I didn't have any faith in what was going to happen. I didn't have any faith in God. And like to say that and to acknowledge that, like it breaks my heart. Cause like now I'm at that point where I want nothing more than to be more. I want to be somebody chasing after God's heart. I want to be happy, but I also want to be what God intended me to be. I want to spread his word. I'm not perfect. I will never be perfect. Nobody will ever be perfect. But I want to be what people look at Christians and be like, that is what God wants. Like God wants me to spread his love and spread God and spread the word and be Jesus-like. And that's all I've ever wanted. And it took so much to figure out what kind of path I wanted to go down and how I wanted it to affect my life. I came back with a friend a couple weeks into January, and it was different this time. Like coming back, like I knew like after everything, like this was where I was supposed to be. Like I was meant to spend my Sundays, you know, worshiping God, doing nothing but, you know, praising him and like listening to the word and getting the word. And then, you know, Wednesdays being here with youth. Like that inevitably was what my purpose was to come back and like be a part of youth, to be that advocate for a student, or to be that safe place for a student, to let them know like, I am here for you, like God is here for you, like we are all here to help you, we are here to be that safe place for you. Like if you feel like, you know, you just have something to talk about that you don't feel comfortable talking to, you know, to your parents or to like your closest, you know, peer, like I am here. And I got that when I was a student, and I can't tell you like how that impacted me. My anxiety kicked in first, but I guess like depression's always been there, but events like that happened, I guess, brought it out a little bit more. But that was my dark season. Like that was my low point of like trying to figure out, like, because the way it hit me, like I had never like felt that low with myself before. So it was a lot, like it was confusing. Like I didn't understand why, like sitting in class, like I felt so, like I felt useless. Having that peace of mind that somebody is willing to spend time with you and be there for you, even if it is in silence. Like that silence says more than talking. Like that silence does more than trying to understand the pain that somebody's going through. And it like I don't want to say nobody understands that until they've actually gone through it, but it's not even going through it, it's seeing firsthand like how you can affect somebody just by being there. Like it does a lot, and it says a lot, and it means a lot. I knew what I needed, and it was the word. And it took a lot for me to finally realize like I will be okay. Like my depression and anxiety is something that I'm just gonna have to go through, and I'm not going through it alone. Like I've got God, you know, I've got the word, I've got my daily devotions that I do, like I've got my church, like that's all I need, and my family. I know there are people that need to hear this, and even though if it's not something that they're, you know, something similar what they're going through, or if it's exactly what they're going through, like I just want them to know, like I want the students and I want the children and I want like everybody to know like it's okay. Like it's hard, but you know, there's, you know, God's got that light at the end of the tunnel for you, and like you're gonna get out of it. I was at home and I kind of flipped my Bible open, and I flipped to 2 Chronicles, and I was just kind of flipping, and my Bible, it's really pretty. It's got, you know, big bold letters in it. So one, it caught my eye. If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and I will forgive their sin and will heal their land. I cried like a baby. I saw that and I was like, this is it. Like my spiritual time is like, it's here, like it's now. And I was so like, I was overwhelmed, and I had to read it a couple times to like figure out that this was it. Like this is where God wants me to be. This is where I am needed. This is where I want to be. Like I want so bad to be, you know, with the church and with these kids, and like I said, be that advocate for these kids. Like I want them to feel like church and youth is like their safe haven. I'm a part of youth, and I could not be happier. It was that emptiness that I was feeling that needed to be filled. And spiritually, I don't feel like I'm all there spiritually. Like I know like I've still got some things I have to work on, that I have to get right, but I know that it's that path that God wanted me to take. So it was a lot. Like reading 2 Chronicles, like that really did it for me. That made me realize like I wanted nothing more than to be, you know, with the church, with the youth, with the students. I look forward to Sundays, and I look forward to Wednesdays, and I look forward to every day when I get my devotion. Like that now is like a part of who I am, and I couldn't be happier with it. Like I know, like looking at it now, like everything that's happened, it's happened for a reason. And in that moment, it was hard to like grasp like why so much like heartache and loss, and like, you know, just everything, like emotionally, mentally, like what was going on, like it all led up to now, and like I couldn't be happier with like how it is.
Wow, what an incredible, unbelievable story. Thank you so much, Sarah, for sharing that with us. It's unbelievable what God can do through us. Each and every one of you have a story to tell, have a testimony of your own. And God does not want us to hide that story. He does not want us to keep that story to ourselves, but indeed share it to others, because your story could mean the difference for someone else. So we challenge you this week. Find someone, tell them about God, tell them about Jesus, tell them about what He's done in your life and what He's done through you for others. That's what God has called us to do. He's called us to go into every nation and tell people about who He is. We hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, be looking out for other videos coming down the line. Starting next week, a little bit of wisdom. It's going to be a great series. I'm excited about it. We're going to learn something. I'm going to learn something. You're going to learn something. We're all going to learn something from this. You guys have a great rest of the week. We'll see you next time.